Namaste yogis. Today we're working on the feet. We'll begin with a warm-up. Go ahead and roll down onto your back. Take your time to get there. And bring your feet just about hip distant apart. Let your arms relax. Inhale, reach the right leg up into the air so that your heel is straight above the hip joint. And you can either keep the left leg bent, or if you slide the leg out straight, make sure that the left toes stay facing upward the whole time. Inhale, point the right foot. Exhale, flex. Again, inhale, point. Exhale, flex. Continue through this motion at your own pace. Start to become aware of how changing that foot position from pointed to flexed affects the different sensations in your leg. One more time, let's inhale, point. Exhale, flex. Start to draw circles with the toes, rolling slowly through the ankle joint. It's fine if it doesn't make a perfectly round circle. We're just starting to get a little mobility in that ankle. And then switch the direction of your circles. To a stop. Right foot comes down, left foot slides in. Inhale, stretch the left leg straight up, heel above the hip. You can either keep that right foot on the ground or slide it away, heel down, toes up. When you're ready, begin to inhale, point the foot, and exhale, really spread the toes as you flex. Inhale, point. Exhale, flex. Keep moving on your own. Just noticing those different sensations in the ankle, calf, knee, thigh, and hip. Now let's start to draw some slow circles with the left toes, rolling through the ankle joint. Switch direction of your circles. And let the foot come to a stop. Left foot comes down. Right foot follows. Then roll over onto your side and make your way up to your hands and knees. So for this next part of the practice, you may want 2 yoga blocks. I'm not going to use mine right now so that you can better see what I'm doing. These kind of block the visual, but you can place your hands on them and I'll tell you when and where to put them. Let's begin with a hero pose. And to set this up, I want you to just look at your legs real quick. Make sure that your thighs are parallel, your shins are parallel, and the inside edges of your feet are parallel. So just turning around to show you real quick, what I want you to avoid is pointing the big toes together like that. So we'll call that the sickling of the foot. We're trying to make the inside edges of the feet parallel. And if it's difficult for you to keep that position, you can use one of your blocks and squeeze it between the ankles, and that'll just kind of assist them into that position. If you don't need the block, you can sit directly on the heels. So we'll be here for a few breaths, and I'll cue you through a couple of adjustments you can make for this pose. So again, sitting on a block or two, not only is it good for the ankles, it might also be good for the knees if you have difficulty with a really big knee bend like this. But if you're used to sitting like this and you want to start to deepen into the pose, here's a little adjustment you can make. You can roll onto your right hip. Slide the left calf outwards, kind of roll the muscle out, and then sit back down, and now your left heel's a little more to the outside of that left hip. Same thing to the other side. Shift to the left, roll that right calf out, and have a seat back down. Now, whatever position you're in, you're gonna start to add a little more muscular energy to it. So think about trying to push your toenails down into the ground like you're trying to flex the feet. And of course, you're not going to be able to flex the feet because the ground is in the way. But you're still pushing down through the toenails, pushing down through the shins. That also helps take a little pressure off of our knees. Now, the whole way through this, I want you breathing slowly in, slowly out through your nose. Change position. Just walk the hands forward. Tuck your toes under. So now the feet are flexed. Again, we're trying to keep the feet kind of parallel to each other. And this time, instead of toes coming together, think about not letting your heels come together. Blocks are welcome if you'd like to have a seat on them. And then again, we're just going to shift the hips back onto the heels. This time, our muscular energy is still coming from that sensation of flexing the feet. So this time it feels like you're flexing the feet, trying to drag the toes toward the knees. And you can keep your hands down on the mat, hands down on the blocks, or you can start to walk your way up and have a seat on the heels. Check in with your breath. This one can be kind of intense. Exhale, release your hands down. And this is another place you can put your hands on some blocks if you find that helpful. Now, keep your legs parallel to one another. Deep breath in. And as you exhale, push into your hands. Curl the knees up towards your chest and sink your heels down toward the floor. It's coming into a narrow malasana, squat pose. It's absolutely fine if your heels don't touch the ground. Mine don't either. Take a moment again, check in with your breath. If you want to play with your balance a little bit here, bring those hands up. You can rest the hands at the heart or even stretch them forward. Feel as if the heels are pressing towards the floor. Hips are sinking down. The spine long. Resist the urge to hunch your back. Move the hands down to your blocks or to the floor. Inhale, slowly extend the legs until your heels are touching the ground. And beyond that, you can keep a little bit of a bend to your knees for right now. Inhale, lift and lengthen, coming to Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, softly bend the knees and drop forward, Uttanasana. Doing that one more time. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, soften down, Uttanasana. Then think about driving your feet wider apart. So you're pushing down into the outer edges of the feet, nice and heavy. Inhale, rise, lift the arms, lift the air, connect the palms, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Samasthiti. Keep your feet hip bone distant apart, parallel to one another. Rock the feet back and forth. rolling from inner to outer edge of the feet. You can let your hips sway back and forth as well. Come back to center, spread the toes. Then rise up to the balls of the feet, lifting the heels. And exhale, come back down. Inhale, lift up, coming to the balls of the feet. Exhale, sink back down. One more time, just like that. Inhale, rise up to the balls of the feet. This time, try to stay up for a moment. Toes are spreading wide, playing with our balance. It might be a little shaky, and that's absolutely fine. Exhale, sink your knees to the floor. Sink your heels to the floor. Bend the knees, drop the hips. Inhale, Utkatasana. Utkatasana, we're pressing the heels down, allowing the knees to drop forward. Take one more deep breath in. Exhale, release your belly to the thighs, chest toward the knees, and slowly lengthen out your legs, Ardha Uttanasana. Now we'll move into Padangustasana, wrapping the first two fingers and thumbs around your big toes. Spread your toes nice and wide. Inhale, lift and lengthen. You can stay halfway lifted, or exhale, drop down a little deeper into your forward fold, lifting the shoulders up away from the ears. Inhale, release the fingers from the toes, and now slide the hands, palms facing up beneath the feet. Toes rest on the wrist for Hasta Padasana. So if you've caught this yet, the term Pada means feet, whereas Hasta means hands. So when we're in Hasta Padasana, we have our hands under our feet. Start to press down into the toes, heels are a little bit lighter. You can keep your knees bent as much as needed here, or slowly lengthen out the leg and explore your forward fold as you like. Then slowly remove your hands from the feet, and now walk the feet together, touching the big toes together with a little separation between your heels. Bend the knees, sink the hips. Again, we inhale, lift up, Utkatasana. So moving into this narrow stance is also a way to practice. Sometimes it's a little more challenging for your balance, but it's still a way to practice. Take another long inhale. And exhale, release down, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, plant the hands, walk your feet back, high plank, and pause. Then, keeping your feet glued to the ground, try to slide the toes towards the hands. Slide the hands back towards the feet. You're really going to feel that action in the core. Exhale, bend the elbows, chaturanga. Point your toes straight back. Inhale, rise, upward facing dog. Now, pause for a moment here. Roll outward through the hips so you can push down into the pinky toes as well as the big toes. Exhale, hips go up, roll over the toes, downward facing dog. 5 deep breaths. And you can find that energetic action of sliding the toes towards the hands and hands back towards your feet. Moving into Virabhadrasana A, turn your left foot out at an angle, externally rotating the hip. Step your right foot next to your right hand. Then, pull your right hip back into the socket. Feet are hip distant apart here. Inhale, rise up. Join the hands overhead. Nice deep bend through that front knee. Then as you're pushing down through the left foot, try to drag that right heel toward the back of the mat. And again, just notice how pushing the back foot and dragging the front foot. Notice how that makes the legs feel. Notice what muscles activate as you do that. Deep breath in. Exhale, release. Hands to the mat, left toes tuck, and we step straight back, downward facing dog. Right foot turns out, left foot steps in. Knee above the heel, push back through your right foot, drag through your left foot. Inhale, rise up. Feel your breath. Notice how pushing the right foot and dragging the left heel, notice how that makes the legs and the hips feel. Exhale, come all the way down, step back, downward facing dog. 5 deep breaths. Rise up to the toes, inhale, look forward. Exhale, step or hop to the front of your mat. Again, you can choose feet apart or feet together. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Bend the knees, sink the hips. Inhale, Uttanasana. Exhale, Samastiti. And take a big step back, opening your feet towards the wide edge of your mat. So look down to see that the outer edges of your feet make a parallel line with the short edges of your mat. Then, press down through the outer edges of your feet like you're trying to tear that mat in half down the center. Notice how it feels. And now, try to squeeze the feet together. They're staying glued to the mat, but you're trying to squeeze them into center like you're trying to bring them together. You really feel that in the inner thighs. And then exhale, relax. Inhale, open the arms, gaze towards the thumbs. Exhale, drop forward, hands to the mat for Prasarita Padottanasana A. So you can have the hands beneath the shoulders, or you can walk them back between the feet. Try to keep your pelvis in line with the feet as well, so you're not leaning forward or too far back, but just keeping that nice line right here. And take a moment to observe yourself. Where do you feel the weight in your feet? If you feel like you're all in the heels, shift a little weight to your toes. If you feel like you're all in the toes, shift a little weight to your heels. Hands to the hips. Inhale, come all the way up. Spiral on the right heel, toes turning forward. We're preparing for Virabhadrasana B, Warrior 2. So I want you to just look down at the alignment of your feet. Your right foot is pointed forward, left foot in at an angle, and your right heel is aligned with your left arch. Inhale, open the arms. Now drag your right heel towards your left foot to bend the knee. Then push through the foot. Inhale, straighten the leg. And again, exhale, bend the knee. One more time. Inhale, push through the foot, straighten. And exhale, drag the heel back, bend. Pausing for a few breaths. Look towards your front hand. Switching sides, inhale, come up, turn your right foot in at an angle, left toes face the back of the mat. Inhale, open the arms. Now exhale, Drag your left heel towards your right. Bend the knee. Inhale, straighten the leg. Exhale, bend the knee. Again, inhale, push down through that foot to extend the leg. Exhale, bend the knee, and we'll spend a few breaths in warrior. Inhale, lengthen the leg, rest the hands, turn your toes forward. Now take a step up, come back to the front of your mat. We'll take one final Surya Namaskar. Inhale, sweep the arms up, gaze to your thumbs. Exhale, hinge from the hips. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, plant the hands, come on back to plank. Bend the elbows, lower down, chaturanga. Point your feet, inhale, upward facing. Exhale, roll over the toes, downward facing dog. Bend the knees, gaze forward, step or hop to a seated position on your mat. Now let's take a few relaxing poses. Make your way down to your back. Bend the knees, and then cross your right heel over your left knee. Press forward through the right knee. Try to keep the inner and outer sides of your ankles still parallel with one another. So we're avoiding that turning in or sickling of the ankle. You can keep your left foot grounded, or if you prefer, you can draw the knees up towards the chest. Breathing slowly in, slowly out. Your back, and then you just extend the legs up. If you don't have a wall nearby, you could also rest the calves on a chair or a couch. Bring the arms down into a comfortable position. Allow your whole body to soften. Are letting go. Mind is becoming calm. A little more space between your thoughts. Begin to feel your breath. Wiggle your toes and fingers. And draw the knees down. Roll over to your side. And then make your way back up to a comfortable seated position. And thank you so much for joining me for this practice. Namaste.